What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today I want to talk about a subject area that I pointed out a while ago, but it didn't seem like a lot of people were down for it at that time. And even right now, I don't think this is going to be a subject matter that's going to be, in a sense, important for a lot of people. Some people have made up their minds as to how they're going to be approaching Hogwarts Legacy, so this particular concept is something that may not necessarily deter or inspire any difference in people's opinions overall. So that is a demo for Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy is going to be coming out in about a month from today, and that is my recording of this video anyways. And we don't have a demo yet. We do have two gameplay showcases, or actually we do have more than two. We got the Dark Arts Battle Arena. We got like the little, area where the character is taking care of an animal and doing some warping of different elements and so on and so forth. So yes, we do have a sizable amount of the game in action, but the one thing that we don't have yet is that game feel. Now, there are two sides of the camp when it comes to the conversation surrounding demos. I've usually seen that for a lot of people, they'll say, a demo is not something that will really change their opinions or push their opinions one way or the other. And for others, they've said or declared, no demo, no pre-order. I saw this in a comment from one of my videos, and I was laughing because I can understand that sentiment as well. I wasn't laughing like it's a bad thing. I'm one of those people who usually pushes for demos regardless of the game. In fact, for the case of, say, Gotham Knights, before that game came out, as my coverage was going on, I almost always made a video about demos, say like every week leading up to release almost. But a lot of people said, they didn't think it was really a big deal. Now, we've seen in hindsight that after Gotham Knights was released, a demo is kind of a big deal. If you think about it very closely, if you consider the fact that a demo's job is to actually come in and provide some level of that game feel and a taste of exactly what the game is going to play like, you cannot necessarily go ahead and just put aside something so potent as the ability for a gamer to be able to test out a video game before it comes out. In fact, this was common practice in the past, and few companies till date actually still do demos. And that's crazy, right? That some of the companies that even do the demos are still here publishing really big games, especially AAA titles. So let's look at some of these companies. Let's look at what their success rate is, and let's see if a demo is some sort of an ancient or archaic methodology of approaching video game marketing. I'll go with the sports area because that's usually where you get a lot of demos. You're trying to see the new mechanics, you're trying to see the new teams and the new play styles and stuff. So FIFA, NHL, NFL, these games will usually come out with demos for people to be able to test out the game. This is something that is a regular annual occurrence, and you'll see it. Then we have a game called Forspoken coming out here in probably the next week or week and a half. And you're probably going to be seeing that the demo would have already allowed for people to make up their minds left or right, whether it is they're going to go with the game or whether they're going to sit back, maybe wait for a sale, whatever it is that they want to do. These are some of the things that demos are capable of inspiring. Demos can also convince somebody to go ahead and look into a video game that they otherwise would not have taken the time to play. This is something that many people don't necessarily understand. If you think about Hogwarts Legacy, yes, there's a huge fan base behind it, but this doesn't mean that everyone is looking forward to playing the game. Some people are indifferent, but if there was a demo, I'm certain that people will be willing to give it a try and get into the ecosystem. So these are some of the advantages a demo can actually put forward, because it provides an advantage for the player and them making their own purchasing decision, as well as an advantage for the developer of them saying, hey, maybe we can convince more players to get into this ecosystem. Now, here's the thing that I've heard as an argument against demos. I've heard two things, one from a developer side and one from the player side. So a developer once commented on one of my videos and said, actually multiple developers, and said, the truth about demos is they actually take a little bit of time to work on and can pull away from the amount of work that you're putting into your video game. Now, I mentioned in my last few videos that I feel like Hogwarts Legacy was a game that could use another 2 to 3 years to actually flesh out a deeper experience. And if the developers were able to do all of that in the 5 years that they had, then this would be a phenomenal feat by itself. Not just the fact that the game is coming out, but if they're able to throw in a whole bunch of really deep aspects of Hogwarts, that's going to be very impressive. Now, thinking about that, you can see how possibly a demo can take away from time, because apparently it's not as easy as just cutting a splice of the game. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's 100% the case, because when you think about the way a game is developed, the way a full game file is developed, you actually, as your development team, can take some time to splice off areas of a particular game and actually go ahead and prepare those game files as a demo. I think where the challenge might be is probably all of the different logistics and paperwork, because you have to submit these demos to Microsoft and Xbox. But by and large, I don't necessarily think it's that much of a big deal, especially if you have, say, something like a little piece or a little encounter that is within the game that can be spliced off after the game has been, has gone gold in a sense, and put away for a demo. So I push back a little bit on that, because I've seen full game files in interviews. If you go online, you can watch a 4-hour exposition video on Mortal Shell, where the developers actually sat down, they opened up their game files in Unreal Engine 4, and they were showing mechanics, they were showing animations, sound, and lighting, and you'll see how this is actually done. So game development used to be mystifying, but it's no longer as secretive as it used to be. New developers are coming into the scene, making AA games that have been successful, and they're happy to talk about the process, because in regards to Unreal Engine, this is a very good thing for people to know, so that more indie devs can go into the ecosystem. That's my little boy yawning. Anyways, you think about that, then the second side is a lot of gamers will say, well, demos can affect sales of a video game. Well, if your game or if your product is good, then you shouldn't be worried about, the demos affecting the sales. In fact, you should be in a position where your demos will be, looked at as improving the sales, or giving your game a good light, or providing something for gamers to be able to get their hands on. Square Enix is they're the masters of actually just making sure that you get a demo if you play the Final Fantasy games. Forspoken is a more recent one, but I remember Nier Automata having a demo. That demo was it made a huge impression on me. And I've actually pursued, playing that game. I was playing it on Game Pass, but then it got off Game Pass. I'm going to go ahead and buy it on the Xbox ecosystem, so I don't lose all my progress and continue playing the game, because that's exactly what it is. I tried to buy it, from another website, but they pretty much gave me the wrong code for another video game. So shout out to that website. I'll never, ever deal with you anymore for the PC platform. But I'm going to get myself a copy on the Xbox, and that's pretty much the impression that game actually made on me. And so I don't necessarily think that a demo should be looked at as possibly hurting the game. I mean, what kind of message is that? I mean, imagine being a fan, and then when you see or talk about the conversation about a demo, your response is, oh, a demo might hurt the sales of the game. Then why are we buying the game if we're actually thinking that a demo is not sufficient to prove the quality of the game? I guess that's basically the answer that, you must consider when it is you're talking about this particular subject matter. Now, would the developers drop a demo? We don't know. It's a month before release, and it could still happen or it could not happen. But we've seen from a lot of other Warner Brothers games, since after like maybe Arkham City, there haven't necessarily been a lot of demos in their own circulation and their pipeline. So, this is just a video to make the case that it's a good thing, that it will probably, in a sense, be a better value in terms of having players get a taste. It will even give a lot more excitement, I believe, for simple areas if they can just put a little bit of interaction, like maybe even a room where you can do a few things, or maybe even the sparring arena, not the Dark Arts Battle Arena, just a sparring arena. And I think this is probably going to be really cool for a lot of people to get their hands on. But anyways, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching the video. I appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.